what we teach here, I do, Reverend Lacey, Reverend Dar, all of our teachers that you have here, that I have, they're all my students. I trained all of them except Cynthia. And now I'm being trained. No. Yeah, Dr. Carter used to say, teach your people the religion of the science, and then they will let the science of the religion happen. If they don't understand the religion of the science, they're going to be trying to make the science of the religion happen, and that's self-motivation. What we want is self-realization moving forward. Self-realization is letting it happen. The other aspect is trying to make it happen. Everyone say, I let go and let God. I want you to hear this. It's on the web. I just sent it out. Did you get my email I sent out last night? Okay. I quoted Dr. Holmes. Here is his definition of the absolute. You ready? The God principle, the supreme, the unknowable, unthinkable, unmanifest, yet manifest in everything. That which is back of all that is manifest in all universes, known or unknown to man. That which is all life, all power, the formless, which is all form, the changeless, which includes all change, the infinite life principle, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, the great self-existent cause back of all that is. It's everything, and it's everything else. Everything is everything else. See, in the Jewish tradition from the Old Testament, they were not even allowed to pronounce it. That was not why there was no vowels in it, Yahweh. Okay. There were no vowels. You could not. Why? Because they knew that if you tried to describe whatever this is, if you try to describe it, the description itself makes it less than what it is. See? Never make God less than what it is in your life as your life. Why? Because it made you out of itself, and then it said, all that I am is you. And all that is what? Ready to back up your next idea. And what are you going to do with that awareness? Complain about something? You've got the power that created the whole universe ready to make up the next decision you make. What is your decision? Love is my decision. Okay. Is it? Yeah. Okay. How many of you use that? See, I was sharing with somebody this week at our conference in San Diego how important we were talking about Joe Jackson and Cy Miller. Jill wrote, "Let There Be Peace on Earth." She was like a mother to me, and when I was in my early 20s, and her husband. And I got the story behind why it was written. About 1968, I lost 5 friends. Within about a 10-day period, lost them in Vietnam. And I was part of Let's Get Out of Vietnam also, and here that just put icing on the cake. Here 5 of my friends died that week. And I got in my car, and I drove the freeways of Los Angeles all night long, singing, "Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me," until I meant it. Took a while. Because it had to become more than just words and music. It had to become what? You know, Charlie Parker says you play the music until you become the music. You study religious science until you become religious science. You study unlimited possibility until you become unlimited possibility. And then you are ready to do what? Be responsible for the unlimited responsibility that you are. Now, if we're going to do this, it requires what? It requires a sincere commitment. A sincere commitment to stop complaining about yesterday and start contemplating a greater tomorrow. When? Everybody point to it. Everybody say, now. See, because that's the only time there is. It's the only time there is. It's an interesting experience to know and know we know that sincere commitment in the area of spiritual growth is ready, willing, and able to become anything we allow ourselves to adjust to. And if we're going to adjust to something, Why not allow ourselves to adjust to a splendid array of reflection? Your world is the reflection of your thinking. All great teachers have taught this. This isn't exclusive with anybody. The greatest who ever lived taught this. Now, something happens though. If you're going to do this, I know I've been studying this 47 years. And dear people, I'm as excited about what I'm teaching this morning as I was in 1975, my first Sunday. And I also know that no matter how much I know, that there is spiritual guidance ready to happen, and there is a process ready to unfold that's going to allow me to always find a teacher that is going to teach me in a clear way. Every teacher needs a teacher. And no matter how much you know, that's the starting point of what you can know. Don't be satisfied with what you know. It's a wonderful thing. I think I shared with you that what we do is we want to know and we know that the teaching that we receive from person, place, or thing is ready, willing, and able to become what? A reflection in the present. A reflection in the present. And you need to watch out to the things that you allow yourself to become part of. They were laughing about the channel that's underneath England going to France, and somebody pointed out, it was somebody from England who's one of our ministers who pointed out the only problem with that is the French drive on the wrong side of the road. And in both ways, everybody have been through the channel? Okay, there comes a point where you got to change sides. Okay, yes. Anyhow, the benefit of input is important. The benefit of guidance is important. The benefit of challenge is important. How many of you know more than you used to because you had a challenge that taught you something about what not to do? Okay, and then you did what? Applied the lesson. How many learned something about what not to do and didn't apply the lesson? I think I'll try it again, okay? Everybody say, if it didn't work the first time, it won't work now. Okay? So give yourself a new opportunity. I think that's the benefit of our classes, no matter how many times you take it. Lacey, how many times do you have first year class? 13 times, okay. And they were all different, weren't they? Okay. Why? Because he was growing as he kept taking it. And second year class is growing. I'm teaching Emerson again. I've been studying Emerson for 47 years. Okay. And I'm just elated with this Emerson class. Whoa, okay. I don't know, Ralph rewrote this thing. Okay. But now, we discover more, and then we learn how to practice the discovery. Because we want it to do what? We want it to be more than an intellectual exercise. You hear me teach this all the time, and again, it's one of the major lessons I learned, is knowing about this is not enough. You need to know as it knows. You need to know as it knows. Okay. This wonderful musician we had this morning got up here and just enthralled us with his talent, because he did more than just buy a guitar and hang it on the wall. How many know that having a guitar in your house does not make you a guitarist? Okay. And how many know owning the Science Mind textbook doesn't make you a religious scientist? Okay. And just because you went to one class, I got news for you. You need about 3 or 4 classes to get ready to take class. Okay. Why? Because, see, that's why it changes, because as we get the nonsense out of the way, clarity begins to study. This is when we wake up and direct our life. If you do these practices the right way, you find yourself that you can bring a greater and greater and greater authenticity to your work based on oneness, not duality. Hear thee, O Israel, there is but one God, not many. It is one thing. It is infinite. It is everywhere at once. It made everything out of itself. Therefore, everything you are is it, and everyone else is also. And you cannot accept anything for you without doing what? Understanding. It is also true of everybody on this planet, whether they know it is or not. But if you wait for them to know it, you're going to have a long, miserable life. The challenge is to give them a model if you want the world to see things in a better way. Listen, what our challenge is now that United Church of Religious Science and Religious Science International are one thing. Our history goes back to 1918 when Ernest Holmes let this happen. And I think we have a very, very interesting challenge and opportunity. P.D. Ouspensky said in 1901 that in the 21st century, said what I'm talking about will be the religion of the 21st century. And that is when we become Christ people, not Christians, but operating from oneness. Because the biggest problem on this planet is religion. And the highest essence of it is not separation. It's what? It's allowing yourself to embrace the world and say we're all God's experience in action. And maybe it's time to let go and let that, because, dear people, we're barely out of the caves. You know, we were fighting over bananas just a few seconds ago. And the challenge we have is to get higher than that. We are maturing as spiritual beings in this thing called life. And our challenge and our affirmation, and it's very interesting, we had a whole stage full of young adults in San Diego. And these kids got up there and said, in our lifetime, we're going to reach 100 million people with this teaching. That by the end of this century, religious science and what we stand for in New Thought will be the dominant religion of this planet. It will honor what Ernest Holmes talked about and Ralph Waldo Emerson talked about, and that is your religion is your life. It's not where you spend an hour on Sunday. It is what you're doing with yourself 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and may all beings benefit from it.